Hi, Nathan.
Welcome back. Hello there, Chris.
So this is kind of this odd thought that I had recently, which is I was looking at the stats on the blog, right? And so I went to the all-time stats of all time, and it made me realize something.
What did you realize?
That you are superior to me in certain ways.
Oh.
Convinced? No, wait, sorry, that's another segment entirely, sorry.
I'm convinced.
I'm convinced. We could stop right here.
For those of you who just somehow don't know, there you go. According to Whim. Hey, that looks backwards.
Uh-oh.
What is this madness?
Let me see. It does look backwards.
You know, always wonder why on YouTube on Facebook videos, everything's backwards.
You can probably put it into
So it's com.whim to according. So anyway.
So when you edit this, you can do all that backwards, and then you can flip us around later, right?
Sure.
Will that work?
I don't know. This episode is all about me. See, look at that. I did it backwards and it's forwards. Anyway, okay. So how am I superior to you?
Well, here's the thing. Because we were just talking about eBay. And when we started eBay, the whole thing was we were going to garage sales.
This was the early 2000s.
Like 2003, I believe.
Yeah. We were going to garage sales.
Before we had the shop.
Yes.
So it may have been late 2002 when we got started. I know it was winter when we started. I'm almost 90% sure of that for some reason.
16 years ago.
Yeah. So here's what would happen. We would go to garage sales. I would buy a whole bunch of crap. And Nathan would look around. Nathan would buy 2 or 3 things a day. And, it was meanwhile, I'd be like, I'll give you $4 for this box of 800 books. And I'd be like, okay. And then we'd have 800 books sitting there that 3 of them would sell. And, my theory maybe kind of worked because I went to a bookstore that was closing down at one point and bought these big paper bags. You remember those? And it was there was 40 books in each of them or whatever. So we paid 6 to 8 cents a book depending on how many were actually in the bag. And a lot of them were romance novels, right?
Yeah, so real quick as an aside, this book sale that I just went to at the library, which if we happen to get into the book business again, that's the place to go. They had the Harlequin, the different romance books, and it was something stupid. They were 50 for $1, something ridiculous, because they couldn't get rid of them. Nobody wants those.
Except that when we went online and started selling them on eBay, it was just we'd put a lot of 8 Jane Quick books or Amanda Quick books, and it'd be oh, I'll take those, and so it's I think I'd spent something $40 or something like that on 8 bags or something like that, and we had all these books up at the shop. There was a ton of books, and we made our money back almost immediately. And I think we maybe had a couple of $100 that we made off of it, but then it just stopped selling. Everything that was left was just crap that nobody wanted. And so, but that first initial burst, it was whoa. So here's the difference. That's about me, not Nathan. So here's the thing though. Here's what would happen with Nathan if we put it upside down. Here's the thing about Nathan. I'd be I'll give you, $7 for, this entire box of Pokemon cards.
They're worth more than that.
And
true story. Sorry,
yeah.
Continue on.
But meanwhile, Nathan would walk up and be oh, look at this, electronic train set. I'll give you $20 for that. And be 20? Nathan, we only have your $1,000 of savings. What are you doing? And then we would go and we'd sell it, and it'd be $110 that he'd end up selling it for, and that happened all the time where Nathan would just do these, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Here's the difference. We were buying according to Nathan's taste when we would do that, and they would always sell like really well. Like
I have good taste.
He does. He like has this sense of aesthetics that I don't have. Like he buys a house, he lives in the house for a year, he sells the house, he makes $100 million in profit. I exaggerate a little. But his houses, they always go up in value, and that's even when the market wasn't booming like it is right now. His houses always go up in value because he comes in, he does a little repair, and he sets it up aesthetically. He's got this aesthetic thing. He has this, his sense of taste agrees with the rest of the culture, whereas I think Southland Tales was a great movie.
Just kidding. I haven't even seen Southland Tales.
It's fantastic. But anyway, so I go onto the blog, and it's just like all-time stats, and the top 10 blog posts out of the top 10.
How many are there total?
Well, the top 10, because it just shows the top 10.
No, how many blogs have we done total?
780 something.
780 the top 10.
Out of the top 10, and we've been pretty even in terms of how much we posted. Because, there was like an early burst where Nathan did a lot of them and I wasn't doing much, and lately I've been doing a lot of them, he hasn't been doing much, but we're pretty even on it. But out of the top 10, 9 of them are Nathan's.
Woo-woo!
And the only one of mine that cracked the top 10 was because I was writing about the Magic the Gathering reserve list.
What were mine about? What were my topics?
There were usually reviews. That's the other thing. It's like, review WinStar is like the number one. Like
really?
Yeah, it's actually cracked 10,000 views.
That's weird.
Which we're almost at 100,000 views of blog posts overall.
Wow.
There's something.
Something.
There's people out there going, really? Because I have that on one post there in a day.
I know.
But so it's just like it's like a review of that online retailer that you did a review, like Packages Earth or something. I don't know what the fuck. There's like a review, I think, of the Brother Cadfield collection that you did. Like it's a lot of reviews, but it's reviews of stuff that you're into, so therefore everybody else in the world is like, oh, hey. So
and I think the Phantom of the Opera is probably up there.
Phantom of the Opera.
People love that great.
In spite of the fact that there's some people on there trying to do the Twitter woke thing on there, like, how dare you say things like, oh, it's just for gay men? How dare you? That is so offensive. And it's like, this was written at a time when everybody said that about musicals. That's why, asshole. But, so yeah, so that's the thing that I've noticed, is that it's like, if you're selling stuff, you're going to sell it for a lot more because your taste somehow.
And I paid a lot more for it.
Yeah, it's like if we sell our CD collections, he'll end up selling more because more people are into Sting than are into Clan of Zymox.
What was that? Did like a portal to another world open up? I didn't know what that noise was.
So
Anyway.
So there we go. It was just an odd thought that I had, but
it's a pity because there's an estate sale on the street over, and I don't bother going because there's nothing for me to do but spend money, and we don't have a shop to sell it at anymore, and an eBay account. We're not really doing that.
Yeah.
We're just trying to find a way to make some money in this world. Why can't we do that without, slipping in a Walmart and suing like how everybody else gets rich in this country?
Oh, no, like I was like, why do you like the door opens and you're like, just slip in here? Like, I was like, what are you talking about? So
this is people slip into Walmart.
Walk into the Kmart in Azle a long time ago, and right now I have no slip boots because I work in a restaurant setting. So
right.
Back then I didn't. I think I was still wearing tennis shoes at the time. Like, I don't even think I was wearing steel toes. And they didn't have any floor mats, and they must have waxed their floors the week before or something like that or whatever. And I walk in and it's wet outside. I walk in, no floor mats, whatever. And I just go, and I just landed flat on my back. I couldn't have done it if I was trying. It was right out of a movie, just
Hi guys, how's it going on?
And, you know, just like, I just got back up and just kept walking, but it was like, wow, that was...
That was your golden opportunity, and
Apparently.
you just passed it up.
Except this was like 20 years ago, and so, you know, it's like, I wasn't like, oh, well, I should sue. Although I probably technically could have. But also, it's kind of, like, Corolla was talking about this recently, about this guy, paparazzi kind of guy that got in the way of Justin Bieber's truck or whatever, and the tire hit him, and he falls to the ground, and it's like, you know, he barely got hit. Like, it was in a slow moving kind of thing. The guy's refusing to get up, and he's like, oh, call an ambulance, and she's just seeing his paycheck there because Justin Bieber happened to be,
Right.
you know, driving or whatever. And Corolla was like, you know, as guys, if you were hanging out with your loser friends who had no money that you could never sue, and your loser friend hit you with the car and you fell down, you would be like, I'm okay. I don't get hurt that easy. I'm okay. You know? But this guy, like, gets grazed by a tire. It's like, oh! So, that, I guess it's kind of the thing. I slip and fall in Kmart, and it's like, well, at least nobody's laughing at me. I guess I'll get up and do my walk of shame back to the cassette section. Because I'm sure that's why I was there.
Right. Do you remember they used to have like plastic and they had holes and you had to put your hand in there? Do you remember that? That was probably even earlier.
Yeah.
And you could pick up the thing, but you couldn't pull it out. You could reach in and pull and look at the... And then the cassettes were like on these big, long plastic card things, and they had to like undo them.
So I learned something interesting about... You remember the old CD packages?
Yes. Like
The big
the tall ones, yeah.
Yeah. So, turns out that wasn't anti-theft. That's what I always was told, was it was anti-theft. Turns out what that was is that they had shelving for records. You know, and records would stand up tall and you'd flip through them and so forth and so on. Rather than forcing all the music stores to change their shelving out in order to carry CDs, they just made the CDs taller so that they could put them into the shelving and people could flip through them.
It's interesting. Didn't really think about that.
Yeah, so it wasn't anti-theft like I thought. So.
Cool. Well, there we go.
All right, so that was a hodgepodge of thoughts.
It almost lasted as long as the convince you thing. All right, see you all later.
Bye.